They told you a good credit score would set you free. But look around. You're checking that number like a prisoner checks the bars on his cell. 750 feels like freedom until you realize you're still broke. 620 feels like death until you see people with perfect scores living paycheck to paycheck just like you. The truth is, your credit score isn't measuring your wealth. It's measuring how well you've been trained, how obediently you borrow, how reliably you pay interest, how perfectly you've learned to be profitable to someone else. Every month you check that app, you're not checking your financial health. You're checking how good of a customer you've become. And if this sounds like a cage you never realized you were in, it's because they built the bars out of numbers you can't see. Here's what they don't tell you about credit scores. The system wasn't designed to help you build wealth. It was designed to help banks predict how much money they can make off you. Think about it. A perfect credit score means you're the perfect borrower. You take on debt regularly. You make payments on time. You carry balances that generate interest. You're a reliable profit. The person with no credit history gets punished, not because they're risky, but because they haven't proven they'll be profitable yet. The person who pays cash for everything gets a lower score not because they're financially irresponsible, but because they're not generating revenue for the credit industry. Your credit score isn't measuring your ability to manage money. It's measuring your willingness to make other people money with your money. The higher your score, the better customer you are. The better customer you are, the more debt they're willing to let you carry. And here's the sick part. You actually feel proud when that number goes up. You know what's insane? We celebrate credit score increases like they're salary raises. 800 feels like winning. But winning what exactly? The right to borrow more money you don't have to buy things you can't afford? That's not winning. That's qualifying for a bigger cage. I've seen people with perfect credit scores living in financial hell. They can get approved for anything, so they do. New car loan because their score says they deserve it. Mortgage because the bank believes in them. Credit cards with limits higher than their annual salary. They walk around feeling financially successful while drowning in monthly payments. Meanwhile, the guy who lives below his means, pays cash, and saves money gets treated like a financial leper because his score is 700 instead of 800. The system has convinced us that our ability to go into debt is more valuable than our ability to stay out of it. That's not financial wisdom. That's financial programming. And most people never question it because the programming feels like progress. Let me tell you about the credit utilization trap. They tell you to keep your credit card balances below 30% of your limit. Sounds reasonable until you realize what they're really saying. They want you to carry debt, just not too much debt. They want you to use credit, just not max it out. This isn't financial advice. This is training. Training you to be comfortable with permanent debt. Training you to see debt as normal, manageable, even smart. The optimal credit utilization rate isn't zero. If you pay off your cards completely every month, your score can actually drop. Think about how twisted that is. The financially responsible behavior gets punished. The profitable behavior gets rewarded. They've created a system where the smart financial move, according to your credit score, is to stay in debt forever. Just the right amount of debt. Just enough to keep the interest payments flowing. Just enough to keep you tied to the system. Just enough to make sure you never fully own your financial life. The credit age game is even more brutal. Your average account age affects your score. Close an old credit card and watch your score drop like a stone. So now you're trapped keeping accounts open you don't want, paying annual fees for cards you don't use, just to maintain a number that determines your financial worth in society. You become a collector of credit products, not because you need them, but because the algorithm demands it. I know people with 15 credit cards in their wallets who can't afford groceries. But their credit score is pristine. The system turned them into professional debtors. They manage credit like a portfolio, tracking utilization rates, payment dates, account ages like they're running a hedge fund. Except hedge funds make money. These people just make payments. The banks convince them that credit management is wealth management, that optimizing their borrowing capacity is the same as building financial security. It's not. It's just optimizing how efficiently the system can extract money from your life month after month after month. Here's the part that hurts the most. Your credit score follows you everywhere now. Landlords check it before they'll rent to you. Employers check it before they'll hire you. Insurance companies use it to set your rates. Cell phone companies require deposits based on it. They've weaponized your borrowing history and turned it into a social credit system. Bad credit doesn't just mean you can't get loans. It means you can't get housing, jobs, or fair insurance rates. You're financially exiled from normal life. So people do desperate things to fix their scores. They take out loans they don't need just to show payment history. They keep balances on cards just to show utilization. They sacrifice actual financial health for credit score points. The system created a secondary economy where people spend real money to improve fake numbers that determine their access to spending more money they don't have. And we call this financial literacy. This isn't literacy. This is financial Stockholm syndrome. You're defending the system that's holding you hostage. You're told that good credit opens doors. But look at what doors it actually opens. Doors to car payments that last longer than the car. Doors to mortgages that cost twice the price of the house over 30 years. Doors to credit cards that turn a $20 lunch into a $40 lunch if you only make minimum payments. Every door your credit score opens leads to the same place. More monthly payments, more interest, more debt. Meanwhile, the doors that actually matter stay closed. The door to financial independence. The door to true ownership. The door to sleeping peacefully without checking your bank balance. Those doors don't care about your credit score. They care about your net worth. They care about your cash flow. They care about your ability to say no to debt. But we've been conditioned to chase the wrong doors. To celebrate access to debt like it's access to freedom. To mistake borrowing power for buying power. And every month, those perfect credit scores help people borrow their way deeper into financial quicksand. The credit monitoring industry is the final insult. Now they charge you to watch your own financial prison sentence. Monthly fees to track the number that tracks how profitable you are to banks. Apps that send you notifications when your score changes, like you're monitoring your stock portfolio. Except stocks can make you money. Your credit score just costs you money in interest, fees, and the monthly subscription to watch it fluctuate. Credit repair companies promise to fix your score for hundreds of dollars. What they're really selling is the illusion that a higher number equals a better life. They're selling hope to people who don't realize they're trapped in a game designed to keep them losing. The whole ecosystem feeds on financial desperation. The worse your credit, the more you'll pay to fix it. The better your credit, the more you'll borrow to maintain it. Either way, money flows from your pocket to their accounts. They've monetized your financial anxiety and called it a service. And the sickest part is it works because people are so desperate to escape the prison, they don't realize they're paying their jailers. Here's what nobody tells you about wealthy people and credit scores. They don't obsess over them. They use credit as a tool, not a lifestyle. They borrow money to make money, not to buy things. They understand that net worth matters more than credit scores. Cash flow matters more than credit limits. Ownership matters more than access to debt. Rich people with mediocre credit scores sleep better than broke people with perfect credit scores, because they know the difference between financial performance and financial theater. Your credit score is theater. It's a performance for the banking system. Real wealth is measured in assets, not in your ability to accumulate liabilities. The moment you stop chasing credit scores and start building actual wealth, you realize how much time you wasted optimizing the wrong number. You realize that the best credit score is the one you don't need to think about, because you have enough money to buy what you want without borrowing. The system doesn't want you to know this, because customers who don't need credit don't generate revenue. But now you know. And knowing is the first step to getting off the leash. If this video made you realize you've been chasing the wrong numbers, you're not alone. Millions of people are trapped in this credit score prison, thinking they're chains or jewelry. The banks don't want you to see the cage. The credit industry doesn't want you to question the system, but you just did. Subscribe if you're ready to learn about real wealth instead of fake scores. Hit that notification bell if you want to see how deep this financial rabbit hole goes. Because what I just showed you is only the beginning.